And we roll right into it. Pluggers, hi. Thanks for joining us for the second episode of our Wellness Plug podcast, the second season, the housewarming edition, as we welcome special guests that are near and dear to our hearts, people that we really admire for all kinds of reasons. And the lady next to me. I was actually, Dr. G, the other day, I was doom scrolling on Instagram, right?
Okay.
And I get
what
onto
is
this
doom
video.
scrolling?
Doom scrolling, that's when you like just vroom, 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 vroom.
Right.
And then you find yourself down this spiral.
Okay.
And down in this deep rabbit hole, I find the video of Muhammad Ali being interviewed by some British guy who asks him, how do you want to be remembered? And he goes, in his iconic voice, he goes, they need to say he had a teaspoon of this and kindness and love. And I thought, this is how I want to introduce our guest, because when I look at her and I picture the time that I've had to interact with her over the course of the past 10 years, she has a glass and a half of grace and beauty, 36 barrels full of talent, a sprinkling of beautiful, well-timed humor.
All right now.
You need at least a teaspoon and a half of, hey, this Jay. She is one of the most talented, beautiful, charismatic, and people that I respect in the industry, who is a movie producer. She's a radio presenter. You've seen her on your TV screens. You've seen her and heard her on podcasts as of now as well.
Come on.
An international MC of events and conferences. Also, she's the international ambassador of the Justice Desk. And might I say, I'm saying this under correction, but the founder of Flou Joke Fridays. The one and only. Pluggers, put your hands together for Tracey Lange.
Can I just start by saying, firstly, I've never ever been introduced like that.
Come on.
So I want to clip that and use it at the start of my radio show every day. I want to play that out every single time.
Any day, all day.
And then the other thing, you know what it reminded me of? Remember that poem of years ago, that nursery rhyme? What are little girls made of? What are little girls made of? That's kind of what you went like. That's what Tracey. Thank you. That's high praise.
And you know what? That didn't even cover half of the recipe. I think there's so much more to you, and I look forward to exploring so much more of that with you as we delve into, you as a person, what's made you who you are, where you come from. I think that our pluggers are in for a real treat. So thank you so much for making the time to spend with us.
Welcome, Tracey Lange, to the Wellness Plug. It's just like I said. When I told Kat, I'm like, we got her. You might not be aware of this, Tracey, but you are definitely right up there with being Cape Town's most beloved radio personality. And I'm going to say it here, and I don't care. It's our podcast. We can say it. So for us, for you to spare the time, as we were having our little moment earlier, I know how, and justifiably private, all personalities have the right to be. The beauty for me is 20 plus years in broadcasting. And some of us finally get to literally just sit across you and be like, how do you sustain this kind of energy? For all the joy you spread, we're happy that we just have a fraction of time to give you back that joy and to delve into some really, really interesting topics, because I think people think they know you.
I think a lot of people do, as they do in general when you are someone that's on radio each and every day.
Right.
And if they see you on social media, people have an idea of who it is that you are. But that's only the tip of the iceberg. That's one layer of the onion. And then you kind of keep peeling and peeling and peeling. And it's so funny. That's what you're saying about people that don't necessarily know me personally. Even my program manager at radio said to me in last year in a conversation that we had, and something had happened and at the station, and there were new things happening and changes were being made. And I had this conversation and I made a comment to her, and she sat there and she sat back and she said to me, Tracey, I've known you for a while. every single time you surprise me with something else that comes out. She's like, you are like an onion. I just keep peeling another layer and another layer. And just when I think I've got you, and now I know what's going to come, she's like, and then you bring something else. And then I go, wow, okay, I'm going to make a note of that. And that to me was quite, I see that as a huge compliment, because it also to me shows that I'm constantly willing to just keep seeing what else is there and keep my mind open and willing to listen to what other people have to say and kind of take it in and not, I'm quite malleable like that. You know,
Love the word.
I'm
Love
not
the word.
stuck
Yeah.
in, like, I'm not just this is who Tracey
One
is.
thing.
I'm this little thing that's constantly still being formed all the time.
Wow.
And we are so excited to be able to expose very gently and very healthily some of your most, I think for me, valuable layers, as well as some of the light-hearted layers. I think if there's one thing, Kat, you and I can agree on when it comes to the energy that Tracey brings, is that I'm a big believer in how being healthy is an inside-out job. And one of the reasons it was for me so important to have a conversation with you is because you've kept a certain energy about yourself in an industry that tries to almost crush that. There's almost an innocence and a purity about your energy, which I've always been really drawn to, that outside of literally getting a really good kick out of giving people joy, there's an inherent energy about you that makes you just really good for people's health.
Yeah,
I really don't know how
absolutely.
else to articulate
Yeah.
it. So I'm always fascinated by meeting people who do that in a way that is effortless, because I also know it's something that must be innately within them.
Yeah.
So thank you again for joining
Yeah.
us. Kat and I have got to warn you though, we're not a normal podcast.
No, but that's the way we like it.
Okay, girl. She says she's ready.
No, we're
ready.
definitely going behind the mic, and we
Alright.
usually start all our conversations with a wellness check-in, right? And we use a scale between 1 and 10, and you can make of it as you will, and tell us why you're feeling that particular way today. So let me ask you, Tracey Lange, as we start today, right now, in this moment, how are you?
Tracey Lange is good.
Yeah.
On a scale of 1 to 10, I'll give it an 8.5.
Oh, that's it. Cum laude.
That,
Distinction.
I don't
That's a
even
little
know if
bit-
we've had that on the podcast, but
8.5. I mean,
8.5.
we're getting used to new things in this canoe. We are in a canoe.
we're in a
New
canoe
things.
and she's
It's,
canoeing us.
Yes, and I must say, if I'm saying to you it's an 8.5, to me it's a little bit low.
Oh.
That would be considered a little bit low for me.
So your regular is?
My regular would probably be 9.5, close to like a 10, close on more on the side of a 10, maybe 9.98.
Okay, so
Can I give it a 9.98 out of 10?
that's
in
the regular.
general?
So the 8.5, what has dialed it down then?
Just a lot of things that's been happening over the last couple of days and being so inundated with getting things done. I'm a few days away from a holiday and a lack of break that's coming. And you know what happens in that time? You have to finish things. You have to finish a lot of things.
Yeah,
and
deadline
it's
slump.
that wanting to make sure things are done on time, that at no point anyone has to follow up with me. So it's purely just a case of sitting down and crunching and getting things done. But also I'm just a little bit tired based on the year that has been already. Now, I generally try to take a break in July.
Okay.
June, July, because once August hits, then we hit Women's
Season.
Month and then season starts, right?
Okay.
And up until that point, it's already been quite busy. So I try to take my break then, because what we don't realize, we in the Southern Hemisphere, once the end of year hits, right, when you are exhausted, then we go into festive season. So then things start happening. The Northern Hemisphere, they start dying down because it gets cold.
Winter.
They go and sleep. They're just like, oh, I need to hibernate and it's good.
Oh, wow.
We can't do that.
We're the
because
opposite.
exactly, we're completely the opposite.
Yep.
But our year is structured differently.
It's
So we are
interesting.
going ba 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 ba, and then end of year comes and we want to slow down, but you cannot because the sun starts coming out and then suddenly you feel guilty for not taking advantage of the sun.
I've actually never thought about that as a factor of our lives in the Southern Hemisphere, but that makes a whole lot of sense.
Then you don't get proper rest.
There we go.
So I try to do that now, and I've realized, I think because I've set up my schedule in my mind that way, my body clock in a sense,
Yes.
that I go, by June, July, start taking it easy, start breathing a little bit more. Now you need to slow down.
And intentional decompressing.
Yes.
I really,
Yes.
I really love like how we're even kicking off on that, because wellness obviously has always been a very evident part of your life, but it's not as if you go out saying people, we all need to take a break. You have structured your life in that way. And I always say that's always the best kind of wellness champion, is a champion who's recognized the value of doing something consistently and repeatedly for your health.
Yes.
And the reason I think it's so important, Kat, is because in general, corporate professionals, entrepreneurs in the media industry are like, highest season of burnout is actually during the September to November period.
Yeah.
So she's just scientifically
gone without
proven
realizing
some of the things we advocate and lobby for people to get rest periods ahead of the crash.
And that was my thing.
Bravo.
I realized. Thank you.
Bravo.
Love that. Absolutely. Can I?
Bravo.
Thank you.
Isn't that amazing?
When we get into your personal life and how you structure this,
Yes.
we're going to talk about the fact that Tracey still uses an actual paper diary, like a book that has 2024 at the corner there. It's got those golden
times.
corners.
With times. Yes.
Leather.
1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3. All of it.
Leather bound, leather.
Hey, amazing.
Yeah.
We're
We
gonna get into
operate.
that.
We operate like
Dr.
that.
G, how are you today?
Oh my gosh, you know what? Today I'm swimming in a very good 7. I feel like 7
Swimming
is
in
my
a 7.
7's good.
Swimming in a 7. 7
like
is
that.
like my lucky number. So I
Yeah,
always want to
okay.
land where I feel like good things are coming. Also, energy levels, huge difference from the last episode.
Okay,
I've
yes.
enjoed that peak.
That's amazing.
Exercising now,
Yes.
dancing a lot more now.
Amazing.
We'll be doing some stuff with Tracey, by the way.
Little did you know.
Oh, my eye coordination. Which one is it?
At the-
Eye hand.
That's just. Meanwhile, the hand-eye coordination has nothing to do with dancing. Just
You'd be surprised. In my world, it does.
As I said,
when you're here,
as I said, history will be made. Just watch.
Wow.
But proof of life, definitely stable, little brother. And how are you?
Yeah, I think I'm also at about an 8.
Ooh,
Although, like,
I love these scores today.
It's a good, but an 8 only because the past couple of days I've been like sniffling and then like, what? Hey, I've got to blow my nose. Like, I haven't gotten sick in years, and I don't think I'm sick, but it's just like it's a weird sensation
Touch
having
wood.
my nose tickling and then just like a hachu. Yeah.
It's your immune system being aware of the hojas outside.
You know, and it's time for that break. I feel like I'm about to
Yes.
just assimilate to Tracey's schedule and take a break now, because I've also just discovered I'm today years old when I found out that the June holidays are 21 days long.
Oh, shame.
I always thought it was a week. And then my 5-year-old said, it's 21 days. And I'm like, no. So I looked at my calendar and I'm like, 1, 2, 3 weeks times 7. Yeah. So
Yeah. Because when you were a kid, it felt much shorter, right?
Yes.
Your concept of time was just so different. So it was like,
Yes.
well, yeah.
okay, I need to plan activities.
He had a beautiful moment as a dad, and we
goodness.
loved it for him. His
realness of
son
it.
loved it too.
Of course. I'm
But
sure.
it's all good. It's all good. Otherwise, I'm fantastic and I'm excited.
And
for
our
today
collective
to go.
average is well above 8. I love
Right?
this for us.
Nice.
We're doing well. We're off to a great start.
Let's get into
let's
it.
get into it. So I think the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to try and peel back those layers of the onion one step at a time. We call it going behind the mic because that's where you live most of your life. In
Yes,
fact, you just came
indeed.
off one of your shows right now, midday slot on KFM. By the way, how is that gig for you? Are you... Let's just get in there, right? How's that gig for you? Are you enjoying it? Yeah, talk to us about that gig.
I feel like he asked me like someone who's really keen to get into radio. Who's like, no, you did kind of
never
ask
know.
like that interesting.
You
Like,
never
I just
know.
don't know, like really, what is it like? What is it like? It's the best way to describe it. And it's something I posted a couple of weeks ago. I said, radio dances in my bloodstream like sunlight dances on water.
What do you even mean? That is the most beautiful thing I've ever heard.
And that's the best way I can describe how I feel about that slot and about radio in itself. It's just everything about it just makes me feel so grateful. So I sit in it every single day and I get there and I go, and even on the tough days, I always kind of remind myself of that there's just this feeling that I've got that comes with radio. And then I just go, oh, wait, all is good again. So whatever has come with it is just...
Is that something that has happened over time? Or is this something that you kind of realized or felt from the very beginning that this is where I'm supposed to be, this is what I'm supposed to be doing? Or is it a feeling that you cultivate over time?
You know, this was something like when I started, initially I wanted to be in TV.
Okay.
And then my mom had said to me, but listen, generally they say if you want to be in TV, start on radio. And then she said, because I'm from Somerset West, my mom said to me, go to the community radio station in Somerset West and tell them my mom's a great fan of going to offer your services free of charge. Especially when you're young, she's like, you've got no responsibilities, nothing else, no experience, so go and offer your services, right? And then she said to me, there's the number, and call the station manager. And when my mother says, do that, you do it. So no, you don't argue never about this at all. And then that's what I did. I called the station manager. She said to me, come in tomorrow, I'll chat to you. I was like, oh, okay, let's go in tomorrow. And I went in the following day, and sitting and chatting to her, that was just after 12, had a great conversation. She said to me, I like your voice, would you like to read the news at 1:00? And I went,
like, as in like now.
At this point, it's 1:45. I've never done anything on radio. And listen, I'm dying. I'm just going. But now I also come from two parents who would say to you, just take a chance, man. Just say yes.
Just do it.
Just figure it out, right? So that's my thing. Now I'm here, so I might as well say yes. So just do it. And she says to me, shall I call your mother and tell her to listen? And I went, yeah, okay, you can. And she called her. My mom's not at home. At this point, I'm so nervous. I can't even think of my dad's cell phone number. I can't even think that take out your cell phone like it's there. And then I said to her, but I do remember my sister's number. And she called my sister. And my sister didn't have a radio at home. At this point, she was on maternity leave. So she ran out. The neighbor was leaving. So she stopped him. She's like, I need to get into your car right now. We need to listen to the radio. I mean, the funniest things, right? But that's what happened. So then I go on air. And she convinced me to come in for trainings on weekends following that news bulletin. And it was there. And then Good Hope FM came. And all the other radio stations followed from there. But I do remember that the moment I got onto Good Hope FM particularly, and I got the news, doing the news on weekends, feeling like, this is amazing and I'm happy with this. And I completely forgot about everything else, right? So then they offer me weekday news and I get that and I'm like, this is it. I absolutely love this. This is the best thing ever. I don't care about having my own show. I don't care about TV, nothing. This is it. I love it so much. And then TV came. And then I was like, oh, that is also nice. Like, this is fantastic. Like, I really love this.
I'll have some of that.
Because now I've said yes, right? Again, you say yes, so now you need to figure this out and you need to give it your all because you don't know how it's going to turn out. So I give it my all. And then the next thing, I got my own show at a new radio station that started, which was Smile. Wow. And I'm like, wow, I've forgotten that I wanted my own radio show, right? And I'm going, now I need to take that chance too. So I said yes. And then Smile, and then Heart, and then KFM came. And I look at it and I just go, every time I just fell more and more in love with radio, every single time. And I think that's why, even at the time when I had, at one stage, 3 talk shows per week.
Oh, my days.
And I produced them as well. Okay. That when people went, why aren't you giving up radio? When are you stopping with radio? And I went, but why would I? It actually feeds me. It keeps me going like every single time. So I could be as tired as everything, even though I love TV. I could be so incredibly tired after getting home at midnight the previous night. And I'd get to work the following morning and I'd be like, oh, this is nice.
Oh, wow.
It's that. So I think it was I didn't plan it. But once I got into radio, right? Once the option was there, I'm also one of those, then I start researching to hell and gone, right? You name it, I did it. I researched every genre of music. I still got files of like explaining why something, swing music. Like, why would I have researched that? At what radio station do we currently play
swing music?
Swing or rock and roll? We don't. Like, there's no station that I set on to kind of go, oh, that's no. But I was so determined to know everything about it. Not also realizing that, I mean, there's music compilers that kind of put music together for you. Like, you don't have to worry about this, right? Yes. But I wanted to know why and how come. Why would they select that? What do I need to understand behind that? I needed to know that. I, at one stage, had 4 radios at home and I'd listen to them all at the same time because I needed to know what was happening at each and every station. And up until today, I might not have all the stations on at the same time, but I can tell you who's on at what time, what time of the week. Who's that new voice that I just heard on Good Hope FM? Oh, that's very interesting. I haven't heard that voice yet. I'm basically obsessed with it. Like, I just hear it. I like knowing. I like understanding. I like understanding what's happening. I like knowing what everyone's doing. I like knowing at what time they speak. Why do they speak at that time? Why do stations in this country, why do they operate like this? Why? It's just something that's there that every time, it's like a spider. Once it bites you, it's like, so it's there and the poison is there. And every time you kind of think like, I've gotten my kick of this poison, like it just kind of goes again. And you just go, oh no, this is fun. I just need to know just a little bit more. We just know a little bit more.
It's very rare to meet someone who sees work as not just a source of energy, but also as a sanctuary. And the full immersion you're describing is so unique to the industry you're in. I think one of the reasons I'm looking at you so captivated and enamored is because there's such a competitive element to broadcasting. And I'm aware that in radio, also very evidently so. But when you describe your love for Radio 1, it's so easy to see why you've been in it for as long as you have. There is a genuine connection you feel to the work because you also don't see it as work. So if I were to ask you what radio is to you in 3 to 5 words, what would you say?
Sure, in 3 to 5 words. Can I hyphenate?
Of course you can. Of course you can.
Sure, because that's a hard one.
Well, 5 adjectives.
Can I go 6?
Yes,
Sure.
go.
Okay. Radio is my reason for breathing.
Wow.
It just, and it might almost sound like a cliche in that sense, but it really is this thing that every time I just want to know more. There's a point where sometimes someone said to me the other day, I was training someone and the young people, I offered that. I was like, listen here, these young people, we need to train them. They can come and sit in on my show. Let's make this happen.
Right.
Because I have this great desire to lift while you rise. Right? If you can take over some things that I don't have the time for, that gives me more time to learn other things, right? So the hunger to always know more,
Right.
I've got no qualms passing on the knowledge that I've got because that means you start taking over. I don't fear anything. You want to take over, you want to do it exactly like me, knock yourself out. I don't care. I can do other things. I can always adapt. I'm always me, right?
Right.
I've got no qualms sharing. Because someone had said to me, someone had started in another radio station and had asked me for some tips and advice.
Right.
And I shared it with him.
Right.
And then a colleague of mine said, but you can't just share that. Like, that's your things. And I went,
It's your IP.
I don't
Isn't that a
care.
big thing?
I said, but I don't care if he does it like me. I said, because one, it's actually good radio practice.
Sure.
First and foremost.
Yeah.
And if radio is healthy,
Okay.
that means radio grows, meaning more opportunities for more people, meaning I still get to be around for even longer. And quite frankly, he can do it my way. I'm still me,
You're
right?
still
The
you.
way I execute is still going to be different to the way he executes. I've just got a great comfortability in that, in knowing that everything's fine. I've got no qualms just opening my hands, sharing what I know, whether you apply it or not.
It's what makes you so fascinating in terms of the industry.
Yeah.
Right, Kat?
I'm imagining there's someone watching this right now and they're going, how do I find my reason for breathing, right? Because wow, it's unbelievable. And now it's more evident because I remember meeting you in your good old days,
Yes,
right?
yeah.
On the
Yeah,
Espresso
for
show,
sure.
and you guys
Yes.
were there. We did this multi-broadcast thing.
Yeah.
And they go, so how do I find my reason for breathing? So I want you to maybe give us you told us a story about like your first gig and so on, but like, what did you do before? What led you to this place where you're like, but this is my reason for breathing? I'm trying to simplify the question as much as possible so I get the essence of it. Like, how do I find my reason for breathing? Because I want to learn it from how you found yours.
Is taking, so, okay, and the best way I can, let me start here, right?
Yeah.
So we all know about a gap year, right?
Sure. Okay.
A lot of people taking a gap year after school.
Yeah.
So we didn't have money for me to go and study,
Okay.
right? So matric came, all good and well,
Right.
but it was also a good thing because my mother asked me, what would you like to study? I was like, oh, I don't know. So I wasn't a fan of school. I was like, I really, school was just one of those things that I did. I was
Okay.
there. I had like,
You got through it.
yeah, sadly. Like it was also like just like, I have to do this. Like I was just really not a fan. I didn't like having to wake up for school, like all of it, right? But now,
Tracey.
but now also
Yeah.
picture. So I'd
Yeah.
also been working since the age of 16. My mom was also like quite clear. Go and get a weekend job. You want nice things? You go and pay for it yourself, my sweetheart. Very nice. You go and get that. So I worked from 16, weekends, lekker. So you gain a bit of experience like that. But then matric came and mom said to me, what would you like to study? And I said to her, I'm still not sure. And she said to me, listen, you do like working with people. Speak to your uncle. We had this great conversation. And he said to me, seeing that you also want to travel, he kind of just simplified quite a few things for me. And he said, you very keen on traveling one day and you like people. Let's look at something in tourism.
Okay.
So we start doing the research and we find a place that's willing to do like this, that does this tourism course. And my mom says to me, great, she's now going to go and take a loan out at the bank that I need to pay back, right?
Okay.
So this will be very clear. This is your responsibility, Masura. That's what you're going to do.
Firstly, I love that.
You're right.
Then,
Smart parenting.
as my mom goes to the bank, she's standing in the bank and standing in the queue, and she talks to the entire world. If you think I talk to everyone, my gosh, my mother talks to everyone.
Hello, Mom.
She's fabulous. She speaks to everybody. If you're new in the neighborhood, she will come and meet you. She'll be like, hi, who are you? Who's your mother? Who's your father? And don't I know them from here? Really like that? Yeah, it's one of those. No, she is like that. It's quite intense. So she then has this conversation and she says to this lady, listen, my daughter, we're actually coming to take out this loan, but I feel my daughter needs to gain experience. So what do you do? And this lady goes, I work at a law firm. My mom says, isn't there a job for her?
This is in the queue at the
In the bank. At ABSA in the bank. My mother goes,
Tracy's mom is legendary.
no, she's fabulous. My mom's just like, you ask, if you don't ask, you don't know, right? And this lady said to her, no, I don't. There's nothing at our firm, but my previous law firm,
Right.
right?
Has got something.
They've got something. They're looking for a receptionist.
Okay.
Tell your daughter to pop in there. So what does my mother do? She calls me at home at this point. It's from like 2 days after I'd received my matric results. And she says, get dressed. Your father's coming to pick you up now. He's going to take you to this man. And you must walk in and say, this lady sent you. And you need to come for an interview because they're looking for a receptionist.
Oh my days.
Anyway, fast forward, 3 days later, I start as a receptionist at
Hello,
this law
gap year.
firm. And you know what it was, right? So I started there as at that company, at this law firm, small little law firm. Studies out the window now. At this point, my mom hadn't even taken out the loan because now this is happening and I was only too happy about that. But let me explain why I'm coming to the gap year.
Gotcha.
So then that means I started working. So from 16, I started working, being very responsible.
Right.
18 comes, I started this law firm. The lady that my mom had met in the bank,
Yes.
because I'd started as receptionist, went into collections, then litigation, then property registrations, bonds, transfers, all of that. I was linked to this woman at her law firm, and she didn't tell me she was the lady that actually had
That is
that
incredible.
had
The
that
call with your
conversation.
mom.
She then says to me, I want you. I love working with you. I want you as an assistant for me,
Wow.
for the bonds that we do. Come to our company.
Kismet.
They then poached me. So it was probably like 9 months later. So I'm working with her. But here's what seems right. So at all this time, I'm incredibly responsible.
Yes.
Very, very responsible. So now I'm not sure about studies yet. We're looking at all these different things. And in working for them, a property developer, we had a great relationship and he went come and work for me, only tend to my property developers. You
Okay.
understand all the legal
Okay.
aspects of a lot of these things. You work with me.
Okay.
At this point, I'm 22 years old. So there's no gap year, right? Please understand there's no gap year.
It hasn't
Nothing's happened.
yet.
Nothing's happened. I've been working.
While other kids are begging for one.
And Mother Teresa, my mother, is also very firm on my sweetie pie. You're earning a salary. Please, no third of that salary needs to come here. Because if you were living out, you need to contribute here. There's a very no.
Let's go, mom.
And no, she said to me, if you were living outside, what would rent have cost you? What would it cost you for food? What would
Fair.
it cost you for
Fair.
law? All of those things, right? So my mom is very much.
But all said like with love, right?
Oh, completely.
Sure.
No. There's
Yeah.
but she's always been very. Oh, please. I was 21 when I got my first will and testament. I was so excited about it because my mother was like, my girl, go and get your last will and testament now. You're 21. Understand how these things work. But my mom made it so exciting that she made it exciting for you to want to grow up and have these things. So I had nothing to leave anybody, but I was like, oh, no, I've got my last will and testament. What are you giving to anybody? I don't know, but like I have a
I am
testament.
visiting your mom. It's a done deal.
My mom she's incredibly practical like that, right? So she's, and her and my dad is also the one, like he's just fully with it, but she's the one that's like quite, so I'm like, no, we have to get these things right.
Right.
Because, and my mom's justification is also this, if you can't budget with 1,000 Rand, you're never going to learn how to budget with 10,000 or 100,000 Rand.
Wow.
That's just a fact. That is a fact.
Your parents sound like a super team.
Yes.
They were quite. They definitely were. I mean, my dad passed away a couple of years ago, but they were an incredible team. So anyway, how the gap year then came about was in working at this property developer and with him, he kept saying to me, I feel like you are wasting your personality. He said it to me, good couple of times per week. Like we'd have such a good time and you get all these things and I'm transferring millions per day. There's money coming in. You need to make sure the banks get the instructions. There's so much to do. And he'd say to me, you're good at your job, but like, I feel like you're wasting your personality. That was a consistent thing. And then one day I thought.
And you were listening.
I started paying attention to it. And I said it to my mom. And then I said to Mom, you know what? I'm still going to work there. But on weekends, I'm now going to take time off to do fun things.
Okay.
And that was my gap year.
Okay.
So it's not a case of I actually took time off.
Squeezed it in.
I did it over weekends where I was like, okay, cool, let me see and just look at the things that I really like to do.
Concept.
What do I like? What do I enjoy? And that is why I would say to anyone to be able to find that reason, my reason for breathing, right? Because my mom also said to me, cool, so if you start working at the radio station now and they're not paying you, if after 6 months, they're still not paying you, but you still want to do it.
Right.
That's probably something that you like.
Ooh, okay.
So I would say to anyone asking, how can I do that? And that's where my gap year concept
and how
comes
to find it.
Take a gap year. And a gap year doesn't have to mean it's after matric. It
Right.
doesn't mean it's at any point when you go. And it doesn't need to be a consistent gap. It doesn't have to be every single day I now have free time.
Sure.
I often say to parents, if your kids don't know what they want to do, start ask them what are you interested in? What is there that looks exciting to you? And let them go and offer these services free of charge. Just a day or two. Let them go to a restaurant and say, can I just peel the potatoes in the kitchen because I do like cooking? Can I see what that takes from me? Can I just peel the potatoes? You'd be surprised. But a lot of people are going like, no, you shouldn't be doing that because they shouldn't be. If they're learning, they should be paid. And I'm like, listen, if they're 16 and 17 and you are in any case paying for the bills,
Yeah.
then why not let them take that time to try and figure it out?
I think that's such an important principle, Tracey, that we've probably lost if I think of like over the years in society with the need for us to kind of, on the one hand, we've got youngsters who are trying to figure it out and figure out what they want to do at record speed because social media isn't exactly helping them. The friends who look like they're making it is adding fuel to the fire. What I love about how your parents and both you approached your journey is it pays homage to what I call the tried and tested methods of what some people think are of the past. That exploring is the best way to discover what makes your soul tick. And I think a lot of us aren't pausing long enough in our so-called busy life, whether you're a student, whether you are new at work, to really spend the time exploring what makes our souls come alive. And when you speak of what radio did for you, had you not also taken that risk and that jump and that leap of faith from the initial connection, you wouldn't be where you are.
Not at all.
And I think people forget that some of the most meaningful milestones in our lives actually happen unplanned. And the beauty of exploring is that's usually the environment that sets up the so-called unexpected romance with the thing that sets your heart on fire.
Yes.
I'm really inspired by you reminding so many pluggers out there that it's not so much in the scripted, this is what your life is supposed to look like. Because a lot of people have anxiety.
Of course they do.
About not feeling like they're where they should be.
Yes. And also just not knowing. Imagine being a teenager and having to make decisions for the rest of your life.
Absolutely.
Based on 6 subjects.
Yeah.
That you happen to like.
Right.
And how many have you seen? There have been people who have been incredible, right? Who know from the age of 6 or 7 what they want to be.
Sure.
Yes.
And they've got that and you meet them and that their lives pan out exactly like that.
Sure.
That's only a percentage. It's not even the double digits of percentage. I can tell you, for the most part, it's people who have tried other things. They've taken that gap and gone, let me give myself a break to just have a little bit of fun. Because that's what I do.
And you are a living, breathing example of what continuous discovery can do. I think one of the things that people get caught up in is they kind of lose that almost belief and trust in the old principles because they're like, oh, it's just a quote. It doesn't really apply to me. And really some things, pluggers, are as true as what they are written. It may really sound cliche, but one of the things that I love about Sit, nobody would have bet looking at you from the outside in that your journey started on a discovery. Because when you are live and active and giving us that energy on radio, I think a lot of humans probably thought, and a lot of your followers included, probably thought, oh man, Tracey trained for this thing. She's from the Academy of Radio Excellence.
She knew from a young age.
Right?
Yeah.
And I think the power of unfolding a story, and especially a wellness inspired story is that people getting to meet the human story of, listen, there's so many things that connects us at the basic level. But I think one of the biggest things you've probably done for a lot of youngsters is help them to calm down that negative self-talk of not feeling like they've got it together, they've got to get there. The beauty of, for me, what you've just shared is that you discover your best self in the moments that aren't in the noise. It's in the moments when you're by yourself exploring the world.
Yeah, because I was going to say that the one thing that I can't divorce my mind from listening to your story right now is how incredibly present you have been in every one of those instances that you described, even in the conscious decision you made that on the weekend, I'm going to find things that are fun for me with the express purpose of understanding myself so that I could find that thing that makes me breathe. You've been present. You've taken ownership of your future. And it's very evident. It's so inspiring because like I go and I look at myself like, how often am I actually really, really present in the thing that I'm doing? Am I here or is my mind fragmented elsewhere? And what you've done, it's no accident that you've reached the levels of success and that you're going to be going so much further than you already are because of that. It's amazing.
Thank you.
Wow.
Thank you.
And on the subject of walking the journey, I think one interesting aspect I'd like to touch on now is this pressure cooker that the industry sometimes presents itself. You know, it's about what's the latest thing. I mean, we're right here sitting in a podcast environment. In the beginning, there was almost this tension between podcast and traditional radio. And it's interesting how we sometimes take a while to welcome change. You've been now in the broadcasting sphere of things for close to 20 years. You've traveled all parts of it, film, television, radio. What would you say has kept you very, very, very devoted and intentionally so to your craft? So a little bit about the craft of what you do. What has kept you in love with it? Seeing the competition, seeing the different changes, seeing even people come and go in different radio stations. What has kept you committed to this craft?
The anxiety of like, am I going to be cut at the end of the season?
End,
so
you know
what do I
mean?
need to do to keep up with the trends and be relevant?
I think I've always seen radio as an incredible platform that I've been blessed with to share other people's stories. They are, for the most part in general, I've never done interviews with celebs as such. I've always gone, if I get this platform, I will share the stories of the people who never get told. And I believe that the only reason why I've been able to stay relevant, or the show itself has been able to stay relevant, is because of that, is that you've heard stories that you've gone, oh my gosh, that's that auntie around the corner from me. I didn't know that story. I didn't know the story of the lady who was, this was one of the most incredible stories. I'd read a short article, a little article in the newspaper, just like a little blurb of this lady who had graduated at the age of 56 from Stellenbosch University. And I was like, oh, this is interesting. And I popped the name on social media. I went, I'd like to get hold of this woman. Someone in Italy contacted me going, I know this person. Just the insane power of the platform, right? To then have her share a story and people sobbing. I think we hit like hundreds and thousands of downloads of that interview. To me, it's just been important to share those stories. And I think people can hear and we can learn from just about everybody. But it's when you learn from the person down the road that you know that you can see they are struggling, but at no point did you know that that is happening in their life. And yet when you see them and you see them smiling and the ability to smile through all the things that are happening, I think that is what has helped me just continue through it all. I'm very good at ignoring the noise. I'm very, very good at that. I've learned over the years that I've actually got this incredible ability, a point of when people went, oh, podcast is starting. Oh my gosh, it's competitors of radio. No, if your content is good, your content's good.
Yeah.
Like, let's just breathe. Let's get them there. Like,
She said it. Let's just
come on, let's just like relax, okay? If content is bad, it's bad, regardless of what platform it's on, and people won't listen to it. Your job is always to produce really great content. And if it's good, people don't care whether they get it on radio or on podcast or on TV or whatever sphere it is. They just want something good. My job is to just always produce really good content. And that is what you do. So I'm able to just always filter through things. I know I'm able to determine always what is important. Yeah. And it's the simplest things that resonate with people. People are actually quite simple. They don't often want to admit it. Because we want to be seen as these incredibly complex beings. And I am this incredibly smart. And I use really big words. I use words wrong. I mean, and coordination. I still get it wrong. I don't know which one it is. I mean, but realistically, I'm okay being honest about that. Like, I got it wrong. I don't know. The other day I mispronounced. I was like, I know I just said that wrong. And I'm okay with it. People are okay with that. Yeah. And if you touch the real base of things, take it really simple. I don't want to be overly complicated. I'm not that. I know people who can sometimes they come up with really great ideas and they speak these big words and I'm like, oh my God, you've lost me.
No idea. It's called being human, right?
People want simple things. And I'd like to think that every now and then, even though they learn something from the guests that I have, it's a moment of escapism of going, Tracey's expecting nothing from me other than to just be here, be present and hear it.
Wow. I'm gonna go a bit off script for a second. Yeah. Because you are amazing at so many things. What are you bad at?
I love that.
All of those things too.
No, we want to get a list. Tracy.
No. And the only way I can tell you that is honestly, the only reason I don't think I'm that great at all of it. I honestly don't believe I'm incredibly talented. But best believe I work my ass off.
I got you.
None of it is luck. I absolutely outwork anybody and everybody at any time. That's why I was so good at everything. When I worked at the law firm, I was damn good at it. And if you had to ask me now to sweep this room, I'll sweep it so well that someone's going to come from outside and go, Tracey, please can you sweep my room as well because you did it so well. Because that's what I do. I don't do anything half-assed. I pitch up and I'll put my everything into it to be able to do it so, so well. And then if I make the mistakes, I make the mistakes and I figure it out from there. But I'm going to just say yes and then figure it out.
There's such a fire in you when you say that.
Yeah.
Right? Like, there was a fire in you. Yeah. Like, where does that, is that a competitive thing in you? What is that?
No, it's just me needing to give my absolute everything.
Where does it come from though?
I think it comes from my parents. Who both would just always be like, just give it your all. And then on top of that, I married this man who years ago, I remember having this thing that I was doing and I said to him, I'm working with a producer and people are saying bad things about this producer. They're telling me I must watch out. What do you feel should I do? Because like I get along with this producer. And he was like, you know what? Just give it your all. He said to me, just give it your all. And
is that how you knew he was the one when he said that?
Amongst other things, you know?
Amongst other things.
Now. Can't wait to get to that.
But he then said to me, give it your all, the same way you normally would. And if the relationship falls apart after that, then that's just the relationship, but you gave it your all. You know, it's been 6 years since I started working with that producer. We always hook up wherever we are anywhere. The consistent check-ins and chats and everything. And I went, oh my goodness. Now you see, I rather would walk away from something that's fallen apart and know that I've given it my all.
Your best shot.
I know I never ever have to look back and go, should I have done a little bit more?
Oh, wow. Yeah.
I absolutely know that.
See, what's interesting about that philosophy and why I find it at the same time refreshing is because we now live in a society that is wary to do that anyway. People are, show me a bit of your card, then I'll show you mine. Then you show me a bit more, then I'll show you mine. And to meet a human being that's like, it's not a life fully lived if you're not going all in. It's such a breath of fresh air because the risk of sometimes humans that are in our category, I've walked a journey of being told that I'm too trusting because I'm an all-in investor, so to speak, right? So whether I'm investing in projects, in people, I like to give my all. I have this interesting policy where I'm like, if you're not prepared to see the full experience, don't engage in the experience because anything less is going to deter you.
Yeah.
I think what's interesting about what you're saying, Tracey, is that sometimes going all in should be with the awareness that it may collapse.
Of course.
And I think that's sometimes the comfort people are seeking is people want to say, I only want to go all in if it's risk averse.
Yeah, of course.
If I know for a fact that if I go all in, I'm going to enjoy just the reward. What is refreshing about your take is here you are still effervescently positive and believe in people. But I'm quite sure you've had some negative experience on the journey. But they haven't informed your core philosophy. I like the power in that to say you don't have to change sometimes to meet the world where it can meet you.
Do you know, I had a conversation with
and
a
it can
friend.
be risky to be this kind of human.
Very. But I had a conversation with a friend last night, and I said to her, there was a big turning point for me with people itself, right?
Yeah.
When someone said to me, don't change who you are, just change who you do it for.
Just let that mellow for a moment.
I feel like a namaste.
Wow.
Because
that's important.
People look at the trusting nature and they want to make you feel bad about your trusting nature. I am a people pleaser and I'm okay with that. The problem is the people who take advantage of that. You know why I feel there's nothing wrong? You know why I feel there's nothing wrong with being a people pleaser?
Yeah.
You can count on me. When I told you I'm going to be there, I'm going to be there. Unless anything really bad happens, and I absolutely cannot. But best believe if I've told you I'm going to do something, I'm going to do something. What is wrong with that?
That's not even people pleasing, that's integrity.
But exactly. So why is it turned into a negative?
I know exactly
by
what
telling people it's a people-pleasing thing and I must watch it. Yes, obviously there's the other side of being just careful of completely realize of knowing when I'm burnt out and having to manage those things and going like, okay, at some point, sometimes you can also just say no, and that's okay, right? Sure. But why must I stop being who I am because you are not accepting it in the way that I'm meaning it? So my sweetheart, that means we move on. I'm going to find other people who will appreciate it. And best believe when you let that go, you're going to be blessed with other people who will meet you at the level where you are. And I've realized that so many times. And to your point of giving your absolute all, I also read something where someone said, and I remember that all the time, and I say that to people, God waters everything you do. And something that's being planted and you water it, if you plant something new, right? If you have to plant a seed, you don't check every day, is it growing? What's happening? Okay? Not every day that you dig up is it germinating. You're not doing any of that, right?
Yeah.
Why? Because you're trusting it.
The process.
If you trust that process of God waters everything that I do, you know at the right time, that seed will sprout roots, and then things will start coming out at the time when it's meant to. So I trust that.
Oh,
I have to trust it.
Not you taking me down the path of give us today our
daily bread.
It's today.
No more than a day's supply.
Otherwise, it might germinate. We don't want that. That's amazing.
We knew we were going somewhere special with this guest, but as always, the beauty of this podcast is that levels just go from here to, for me at this point, it's transcendent. We're now in a very beautiful place where I would like to rename her Oracle, Tracey. I think this is going to be your new title at KFM. Hello, darling.
Oracle.
Okay. The beauty of your story, Tracey, is part of what's so warm about you is this openness you have about sharing what people may perceive may be very intimate parts of yourself, but you share it in such a responsible way. And I think in a culture where people are figuring out what's oversharing, what's undersharing, you have this interesting dance with vulnerability. Where would you say you got to access your soft side? Who influenced that beautiful landing place where you're so comfortable in your skin as a woman, as a public figure? You just have this way of saying, I'm here, I exist, there's a freedom, that free, soft you, which a lot of women struggle to express. Where would you say you got it from?
I think I've gotten it from not just my amazing partner, but really good friends that have allowed a really safe space and parents that have supported me. I think it's so funny. Years ago, the property developer, in one of my chats before I started working there, he looked at me and he said to me, and obviously this is with no offense to anyone else, but he looked at me and he said to me, your parents are still married, right? And I said to him, yeah. He said to me, happily married. And I said, yeah. He said to me, you get along with them pretty well. I said, well, yeah. for the most part. I mean, so like a kind of half teenager, so we know what it's like, right?
Yeah.
And he said to me, I can see you have no desire to make anyone else happy. He says there's a comfortability about you that tells me you know your parents love you and nothing else matters. And I have never forgotten that.
There it is.
I've never, ever forgotten that at that moment of going, oh, wow, I didn't realize that. And the older I've gotten, the more I've realized it, the more that statement has gotten more legs and grown more roots where you go, Flip, I know this now. Like, wow, how big is that for someone to have seen that? And I didn't realize it. But I had no doubt in my parents' love for me. And I still don't. My biggest fear has always been disappointing my parents. No one else. No one else. I wouldn't like to disappoint you. I really would go out of my way to not disappoint you. And there's some things that we just can't help for, right? Sure. And I would feel bad if I disappoint you. But what would bother me way more would be my parents being disappointed in me.
Sure.
And as long as I've got them being okay with things happening and things being said, and I really pray that I never disappoint them. I feel safe and okay. As long as what I'm saying is something that I know I've been comfortable enough to say to my mom and say in front of her, then I'm fine. Yeah. Then I feel safe enough, and that's when I feel I can share.
So I'm on this interesting journey. Like I'm a 5-year-old dad, 5-year-old dad, right? Yeah. And with June being, Youth Month and Men's Mental Health Awareness Month, I've taken a bit of a focus on trying to spread a message, especially to young dads, that like we are one of the first generations of fathers who have the luxury of being vulnerable with our kids.
Right.
And that means letting them into those spaces that we otherwise thought might be out of bounds because, how's my child supposed to know that I'm not feeling okay, whatever. But what you've just said really pointed towards a North Star that I want my child to know, right? That
nice.
I love him to move mountains, right? But and I don't always know that I'm doing it right for him to understand, to know it. What did your parents do for you to have such an incredible certainty and it gave you this firm foundation that they love me no matter what? And so as long as I'm okay with the decisions I'm making because I know that they would approve, what did they do? How did they do it? Is it what they said or what they did? What is it?
Listen, I think we come from, if like similar age, we come from an era where parents didn't necessarily tell you that they loved you. Okay? So my parents didn't do that. They weren't like I love you a lot. Oh, my child, I'm so proud of you. Yeah. Oh my gosh, I love you, John. There was a very clear, like there were strict boundaries, right? And they were quite strict and they were very good at disciplining. Really good at disciplining. So
the conviction.
Yeah. But I think that is possibly part of it because the reality is, as a parent, you actually never have any idea whether what you are doing is right.
Okay.
You will find siblings out of the same house with the same parents being absolutely different. The one will fully accept what the parents have said and gone like, oh gosh, I know while I was growing, my parents were growing. Because we must not forget that. Let us not forget that while we are growing, our parents are also growing, right? Life happens, okay?
Good.
And then someone else will take that and go, I can't believe my parents just treated me that way. It was exactly the same, but the one will completely turn against the parents and the other one wouldn't and just accept and see what they've done. I think a big part of what made me who I am is I looked at the life and the lives my parents had come from. They had both had really, really tough childhoods. And to have taken that and turned it into something where they've gone, we just want a peaceful home for our children. That from a young age, I could acknowledge that. And I could see how tough that must have been. And I could understand it because I'd looked at siblings of theirs and other family members who couldn't do that.
I got you.
So then you look at your parents and you kind of go, with every sacrifice that they have made, with everything. And listen, I do think a big part of me was also, I was always slightly ahead of my years. I always read things that I shouldn't have read. I was always reading things that I should have read like when I was a teenager and I was 6 or 7. So a lot of things was kind of exposed to me. Like you read about a lot of different things and I still read a lot about things that that's not even my life. I've never seen that. I've never been exposed to it. But that's why I need to read about it so I can try and understand it, right? At any point that I can understand why people do certain things. And I think I've always just looked at my parents and gone, if they could have done that, if they could have created this amazing life, and they wanted to give me their everything, not financially, not materially, but I know I had peace.
Yeah.
I know I had peace at home. And because of that, peace is the most important thing.
That's important.
Right?
That's important.
More important than anything else.
Yeah.
And because of that, that is why I could feel so safe. And I could feel so like I knew I was loved because of that peace. Because they worked so hard to maintain that peace. I mean, I was probably 17, and I remember this so well. That is why, because it's actually quite funny, where for the first time I heard my parents disagree in front of me. Right? And I'm sure they argued, but it was never screaming. It was never, and everyone does things differently, right? There was a great need to be very respectful of one another. And in that, there was just a very natural respect at home, right? So for the first time I heard them disagree, and you know what they disagreed about? What color to paint the roof of the house. And I was now for the first time that I heard my mom say, she wants this dark green, like a bottle green, which is color at the time. And my dad went, but he wants navy.
All right.
And at this point, my sister was married. And I called her and I was like, I think mom and dad are getting divorced. I mean, like that was, like I've never ever heard them disagree. Like that was it. They just couldn't that was it.
Over paint?
Over paint.
Okay, girl.
And please note, the discussion was,
right.
Blou ek hou van die groen. That was the level of it wasn't, there was no screen, literally. It was just a normal conversation.
Right.
But that is how peaceful home was.
Yeah.
And I look at what my parents had gone through and how tough it was for them and how they did not come from peace. And to go that both of us can marry each other and decide that because the one could have been, I don't want that, but I'm marrying someone who's also used to that. So I can just fall back in that trap, right? But to both go, no. We are doing a full 180. We're doing something totally different.
Wow.
And we are going to fight for that in our home to ensure that there will just be peace.
Oof.
And I think if we can just maybe remember that past everything else, that's the most important thing. You say you come from a time now where we have the luxury as men to be open about emotions and share that with our children.
Right.
My dad was always open with his emotions. I remember my dad being the first man that I ever saw cry because his sister passed away, and sitting at home and having him sit and cry and allowing my mother to comfort him, holding him. Do you know how big that is? And that I've always understood that as this big man who was crying, who showed me that it was okay. That it was okay to be sad and cry about something.
Yeah.
You know? And I will never forget that. I've always found that incredibly powerful if a man can do that.
Wow. You've got this bond with your family that just completely blows my mind. Not least of all the fact that I think as a lot of South Africans did not have that nucleus of family that was so well held together. But in the way that you convey it as well, you make it sound so possible and so
doable.
simple. Like that peace that I thought to myself, they should include that in marriage vows.
I was about to say.
To maintain each other's peace.
In counseling even.
For better or for worse, for richer, for poor, till death. Yes, but that golden thread of peace throughout our life is so
and
so
how
incredibly
each partner views it, Kat. I mean, we've talked about peace of mind in previous episodes, and one of the things that I'm hearing here is how the intentionality of both partners to commit to the journey of peace and creating peace around each other. I think sometimes what can happen is we get defensive based on our views of something. So, for example, if I view respect differently from my partner, but we haven't had a discussion, it'll show up in an argument or a disagreement. Because if I think being respectful is maybe not pointing your finger at me during an argument, and then you do it, if we haven't had some of those softer discussions, as people call it pillow talk, I just think you need to be having really meaningful conversations as part of pillow talk. But what I'm liking about this is it's good for us to define it for ourselves. What I love about what your parents did, perhaps subconsciously, is bring the intention of learning and defining it with each other as they journey through the marriage. And I think it's one of the reasons you must have felt so safe. But I think there's a special kind of love that allows for flight. And what I'm hearing is that their love and their intention towards building this peaceful foundation allowed you to fly.
Absolutely. I can't disagree with that. It definitely is that.
And you have that with your boy, in case you were wondering, by the way.
With what?
You have that with your boy.
Well, I mean, like you say, I appreciate that very much, because other people have said it and they see it, and I sometimes go like, I don't know if I'm doing it right. So thank you for being reassuring in that sense. And what you've also reassured me of in a way that you maybe might not be aware, because was I one of those people who was like creeping in the windows there, you know, back in the day when I'm following you and Avu, right? Yeah. And every now and then a picture comes up of the job. I'm like, what? And then you have those matching tops and I'm like, what? Next thing I know, it's an overseas trip. You know, I was having it. Talk to me about how you and Avu met and how love came into your life and you know, because what you just told me about your parents, it feels like it almost now translates into who you are and to who he is and who you are together. How did you meet?
It's so interesting how we met. It's the most bizarre thing in the world.
This is why I was...
Oh my... And actually, let's just touch on that quickly. At the time, because you said, I'm sure I've gone through many negative things in life, etc., etc.
Right.
I mean, at one stage, I was engaged to someone else.
Okay.
This was before I'd met Avukile.
Yes.
And that's my thing. It's also one of the things that I was able to walk away from comfortably because I'd given it my all.
Wow.
I knew that I never had to fear because I'd given chances, and I am grateful for that. Like I'm comfortable. Like I've given it everything that I needed to, and I don't have to. And that is why I'm so okay. Also, still giving my everything and everything. Like I want to know that I've given it my all. Right?
I think there really is a piece about knowing you've done that.
Yes. Oh, really? There is.
Nothing's unfinished.
Yes.
Love that.
I've tried everything. So in myself and Avukile, do you remember Tammy Ann Fortuin? She used to host the TV show Roer.
Okay.
Yes.
And I had just started hosting Bravo, and they asked me to be one of her guests. Now, cooking is funny enough. You know what's funny? Is I used to cook for the family. My mother would say that. I was the one that cooked for the family as a kid, as a teenager, and then I started working, and then I stopped, and now I've just completely lost it. I actually do think I don't like it. I actually just like, no.
Okay, it's when I tried.
I can stand witness to that because I think I've been an adjudicator of one of your omelette challenges. I'm like, fail.
Epic fail. Was the stove even on? Because there's a great possibility that it wasn't. I can tell you that. So you know what they do? They invite me to cook on a show, and I'm going, but you see again, yes, we're just gonna say yes, we're gonna figure it out, right? But I've noticed I also have a gift that for some bizarre reason people always invite me to come and cook on a show. Thank you so much for not asking me to cook. People always ask me to cook on a show. Like I'm like, why? At what point have you seen that I cook? Why do you want me to do this? But now I'm here. But for some reason, every time they invite me to the show, I manage to get the person next to me to do the things. And I talk so much, like I completely, and then I go, oh, just put that in there quickly. And then I'm like, oh, and then, and I just keep going. And then the next thing you know, I would win a challenge. Like it was so bizarre. Like, and I come up with the most insane, fabulous names for this dish that was created that I barely did a thing on. We're like, it works. So they invite me. And we got along so well because it was one of those, because she started laughing at one point because she went, Tracey has not done a thing. Yeah, I've done everything. And at this point, everything is done. Like from starter to main to dessert, she's done everything. And she goes, Tracey didn't do a thing. I just realized that now. And she started laughing, right? Because she's like, wow, I can't believe it. And we had such a great conversation. I mean, I just passed things her way. Like I just passed the salt here.
I like this tactic. I'm trying this tactic in the future.
Try it. And then she said, at the end of that, she was like, I really got along with you so well. I've got a birthday dinner coming up this weekend. Please, can you come and join us? And then she mentioned a few names of people to be there. I was like, oh, cool, nice. Right. If I don't know them, I'll be. Right. I went, and he happened to be there.
Oh, wow.
And we met each other, and we started chatting, but we all hung out as friends.
Okay.
And in this time, I then broke up with my ex.
Okay.
And also kind of hanging out together. And then at some point, because I kind of like, you know, my ex was also part of the mix. We were all friends.
Of the circle.
So then I stopped hanging out with him because
Okay.
I was like, you know, I don't want to interfere there. Let's leave him. I'm quite okay. And then Tammy came back from the US again one holiday, and she was like, I haven't seen you. Please, let's hook up for lunch. And we did. And we spoke, and she said, but Tracey, you were actually the person that I invited that first time. You were the person I wanted to, so please, let's not end this friendship. Okay. And I was like, okay, no, I get that. I just don't want to interfere with anything else.
Right.
But funny, she said to me, and, are you seeing anyone now? It's been a while. You've been single for a while. And I said to her, no, not at all. And she said to me, but I always thought like when he looked at you, there might be something. And I went, oh really?
I like this.
And anyway, still nothing. And then it was probably a couple of months later.
Okay.
And she said to me, or he kind of reached out and went,
yes.
Hey, how's it? Haven't seen you in a while. Keen to hook up for coffee? And I said, yeah, sure we can. And it was about a year later that we got together and it became a thing.
It's amazing.
But I mean, this year we've been together now for 10 years as a couple.
That's amazing.
And I mean, thank you. And it's just been like we look at everything that's happened over the few years and the different changes that's happened with us and what's happened in life. Like there's just been so many different things that's happened. And you go, a lot can happen in 10 years.
Yeah.
But he's one of those people that, I can be really, really tired. Like so tired, and I'll get home, and then I walk in, and he's like, "Oh my gosh, I just had this meeting, and this is happening. I've got this idea," and then I'm so inspired that I'm like, "Oh, let me take out my laptop as well. Like, maybe I don't know what I'm going to do now. Let me also start typing stuff. I don't even know how to type. I'm done typing, but he is so inspiring just by being. He really is. He doesn't try. He just is, and he's. I mean, my one friend said to him the other day, "You and your Christ-like nature, you need to stop." Because he just also is so good at giving people second chances and understanding that everyone is so different. He really is fantastic. He's an amazing, amazing man.
Yeah. I've got to give Abu his flowers as well because, I had gone through like a bit of a personal, whatever you want to call it, trouble as we all do in life. And he was one of the first people that he messaged me because he got my number from one of our mutual friends, and he invited me for coffee. And he's like, let's just sit and have coffee. And we sat and, we'd never done that before. And the way that he, spoke to me, spoke life into my life, I was just like, wow, what an incredibly caring person you are. And so to hear you speaking about him like that as well, it just reconfirms the amazing person that he is and that you are. And then you can see that union working so beautifully together. My gosh.
The two of you recently got married last year.
A couple of years ago, actually.
A couple.
Yeah. Now it's
only
3.5 years. 3.5 years.
Look at the tan on the ring finger. It's been there for a while.
Hang on for the IG crowd. Guys, Detective Dr. G on the case. Okay. So we get the pictures. I think that's the ring. I follow you quite, I won't say religiously, that would come across.
Weird.
We've all seen where reindeer got us. I follow
from my iPhone. Yeah.
Okay. So it's been a couple of years. I love this even more now. This question for me is even more appropriate. What's your favorite part about married life?
Oh gosh, that's actually a tough one. And let me explain why. Because from the moment we had gotten together, you see, it's also that thing of putting in my everything, right? I'd already considered us married. So I felt like, and I remember speaking to someone and they were like, oh, you're giving your all because you guys are sharing things on social media. And at this point, it's not even a year, et cetera, et cetera. And I went, you know what? Because if things end, they end. And if they don't, they don't. But I
want to be like Tracey, guys.
Why can't I just share things at this moment when I am so happy about it? And, if it then ends, then, I'm really sorry that it does. And I'm sorry if you feel touched that I'm not going to tell you what the situation is because it isn't your business. But a big part of me is just like, why not share those things? And so my thing with being married, Davukile,
is there a difference, would you say then?
I do think there is we'd always felt very comfortable with each other. Okay. But there is a sense of like, you can try as you might, you can't just run away, my friend.
It's a little bit of the Godfather.
It's going to be like a little bit harder. No, but there is just, I think there really is the safety of like feeling like if I've given it 100% before, I want to give even more of 100%. There's this great need, like I want him to be happy every day. I want to know that even if I did something simple to make him laugh today, and if his day was tough, that I could be there, that I there's this big part of you that just, I think the greatness of it is, I suppose, the responsibility that I felt more now of wanting, you feel so responsible for this person's happiness. And not in a sense that you feel it as weight. Like there's a joy that comes with it of knowing that I can. And I know he's not dependent on me for it. I know that. I think that's what's so great, right? And the fact that there's so much space in our togetherness, that we've always been okay with that. We've always been okay with, we are two whole people coming together. We're complementary, not supplementary. And being okay with that too. And now what we're growing now and building of each other and how we're growing further, we are helping each other do that, but we were two whole people. There's just really something comfortable and great about that.
I really love what you said about you're complementary, not supplementary.
Yeah.
We live in an age where so much gets thrown around about love and loving each other. No partner can be the exact copy of another. So what about him is different from you? And in that way, how do you complement each other?
What is different? I often feel like he's way more positive than I am.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that possible?
Lord.
Okay.
I know it's weird, right?
Maybe we need him here for this moment.
Now, please, at the same token, then you have my mother who goes, you all think you're positive, I'm positive, then all of you put together. So listen, then at that rate, I'm incredibly negative. I'm incredibly pessimistic. So Avukile is very, very positive.
Okay.
He is this one thing that he does in general, and he's done it a few times in our relationship. He will make up his mind to the point of giving a date. So he would have been in a work situation, things weren't great, and he would come to me and he would go, you would check what would be the last working day of May, right?
Okay.
And that particular year, it was the 29th of May.
Okay.
And he said, this is what I'm putting out. This is what I'm asking them for. If they don't come to the party, I'm resigning on the 29th of May with or without a job. But I'm done on the 29th of May, right?
Like
it's not the first time that he's given a date. This one
I got
particularly
you.
stands
I
out,
got
right?
you.
The following week, before he had done anything, a company had headhunted him, reached out and went, this is what we want, and we need you to resign at the end of the month, on the 29th of May.
Wow.
So he is so good, and also he's also one of those that plans really well, right? Okay. I'm not as much a planner.
Okay.
He's the one that kind of goes, cool, so that's where I want to be. These are the steps that I need to follow. I kind of go, I'd like that, but I don't necessarily have a date attached to it. I'm like I'll work because it will happen at the time when it's right. No. Avukile is very clear. It's going to happen then when it should. It's it. Like he's very clear about that.
Incredibly disciplined.
Very. Oh my gosh. He just lost like an insane amount of weight now. And now I sit with him and then he's just like smoothies. Now I'll go, okay, cool. Do you maybe want a cup of coffee? It's just like whatever's like a second cup of coffee. I don't drink a lot of coffee, but now I've not had my coffee yet for the day. He's already had his cup this morning, and I'd be like, and he'd be like, no, I've already had my cup.
I'm done.
Wow.
It's done. Now I go, but I'm going to, would you like some nuts? Would you like some, whatever it is that, no, because I'm not meant to eat it now. He's so disciplined. Yeah, I can't, especially when it comes to food. Like, it's just not an option. Like, they are like total opposite. I eat all of it. I don't make it, but I eat it. He makes it and then he doesn't eat it. So like it's really...
you mentioned like him being such a planner, but you're quite the planner. Literally before we started recording, you were sitting, phone in one hand, diary on your lap, and a pen. And I thought to myself, when last did I actually even see somebody writing something in a diary? Okay, maybe waiters writing something on a piece of paper to take your order, but you use an actual diary.
Yeah.
Why still? Are you just old school like that?
Once I write it down, I actually write it down. I can't forget it. And I know very clearly that I've written it down.
Sure.
I tend to know that if I've also written it down, something needs to be tended to next week, Wednesday. I've written it down in my diary.
Love it.
I don't panic because I know I've written it down. Once I've written it down, I remember that I've written it down and I shouldn't have to think about it now. So it clears space in my mind.
Oh.
You see, if I just have it on my phone, because there's so many different things that you type on your phone, right? It's WhatsApps, it's emails, it's all those different things.
It's always floating.
So do you see? So you're never actually grounded. To me, the writing down, I don't worry about that thing that I've written down again until it pops up in my diary when I page there. So it clears my mind from a lot of things. But you see, I'm organized like that, and I'm organized like that with work and keeping things together. Avukile is great at planning life.
So when you guys plan your overseas trips, he's the one that puts the itinerary
I have
together.
a sneaky feeling.
All of it.
Tell me about one of your best adventures, because the two of you look like you must be a ball of fun on a trip together. Not only just like killer matching jackets and outfits, but
I think it's been we've had so many different holidays that we've had that's been really fantastic, but it's often been the things that have gone wrong on trips that have been the most fun, because then you see what the other person is like.
Right.
I mean, we had the one I will never forget is going to an Airbnb in Amsterdam.
Okay, that's always fun.
Yeah, no, completely. And we'd had such great experiences. Got there, the bedding was clean, but I mean, there were cobwebs on the walls, not in the corners, like on walls. It was horribly dirty, right?
Oh no.
Avukile that evening, even though because at this point he'd reached out to Airbnb and they were like, listen, they're sorting everything out. They're refunding us. They'll put us up in a hotel, everything. Like,
Okay,
listen,
cool.
Airbnb was fantastic like that, like really amazing. But he refused to sleep under the covers, even though the covers I could tell was really clean, because I'm particularly, I like things really neat and tidy and clean, and not necessarily tidy, but clean is my thing, right? I can live with untidy, but clean is a thing.
Basic requirement.
He slept on the covers in a tracksuit pants with socks over the top, because didn't stand the thought of touching anything else. Slept with a long sleeve top and a jacket over that and gloves, because he couldn't stand the thought. And I was so annoyed. I was like, why didn't you tell me to pack my gloves? Because I didn't pack my gloves and now I have to sleep without gloves. It's those things that have happened where you go, wow, like we can laugh about it. It's the most hilarious things.
And those things, like the manliest man as well. Like he's a dude. He's a dude.
He's a proper. He's like, I'm wearing my gloves.
These germs shall not catch
Nothing will touch me. He landed on his back with his hoodie on. I was like, you cannot be for real. You cannot be for real. I was totally unprepared for it.
Drag him about that.
He's the Optimus Prime of hygiene.
Proper.
I'm here for it.
But it's those things. And we've just had so many, even simple things. Like we went into lockdown, right?
Yeah.
And we're in the small 2-bedroom apartment.
Yeah.
But how we could make it fun for each other, despite all of that. And finding the joy in the little things every day. It was being able to go, okay, let's stop working now. Let's sit together. Let's watch a movie. Right. And not taking away anything else, because lockdown was tough. It was incredibly hard on everybody. But being able to find those little joys in every day, just so we could be okay. And doing that together. It's incredible. Like Avukile has a gift for finding silver linings and just making things really good. And he's good at even because I can be very positive, right? So I can come and I can be like, very positive, excited. He can still analyze all the pitfalls while still being very positive. Right. Now, sometimes if you give me the pitfalls, I'm like, oh, no, now it's
I'm over it.
He's analyzed it. He knows how he's going to get over it, how we're going to jump over it. Okay. Because that's where you can be even more positive about it. Like you thought of everything. So,
what a life partner, eh?
And I think that's the fun part. And the fact that the two of you engage in the health and wellness part of your marriage together, it's also really, really inspiring. You've always been healthy mind, healthy body, and healthy soul. That's always been something that you've oozed without necessarily needing to have a billboard about your journey as someone who believes in maintaining health, right? I'm curious about 3 things that you consistently do as part of any routine, whether it's throughout the day or just as part of your life. 3 things that have maintained your health overall. What would you say there?
My overall health, firstly, breathing.
Okay.
We don't
breathing.
Conscious breathing. Because we don't breathe properly as
no,
adults.
we actually don't.
We stop breathing at some point.
Fantastic
and
point.
we do shallow breathing, right?
Fantastic
So firstly, breathing is vitally important. So I set aside, not even time, I just count 25 deep breaths in the morning.
Okay.
Right? 25 in, out, and count it, because that way you're also actually meditating. People go, I can't meditate, I can't clear my mind. Just count your breaths.
Okay.
That's actually meditating. Just focus on counting your breaths, right? 1.
That's 1.
Nice and slow.
2.
Okay.
Right? So
Even
do
just kind
that.
of relax me a little bit.
Already, it feels right. So I do that in the morning,
Then you do 25.
25.
Okay.
Then in the afternoon after radio, I do 25 again. And in the afternoon, so I walk everywhere, right? I've got this big thing with walking because I don't like to gym. It's not my vibe. It's just not a...
Like I said, you can walk and look like this thing.
That's no, because people keep going, but you do weights, you do all of that. No, this is walking with backpack on my back.
Oh, there we go.
And that's what I do, right? And quite a few heavy books in it, and that works like a charm. But it's been over years that I've been doing this, right? And then in my second batch of walking, that batch when I walk in the afternoon, my breathing there consists of, with every breath, in my first 10 breaths, first 5, I would go, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. The second batch of getting from 10 to 20 is, what did I say? What was the first one? I can do all things. Yeah, the second one, if Christ is for me, who can be against me? And make it personal.
I love that.
Right? That's why I'm going, it's me. It's me.
Yeah.
If Christ is for me, who can be against me?
Yeah.
And the last 5 is, this is the day that the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it, because it just reminds you again to be grateful. And that would be my next 25 deep breaths, because then I'm also meditating on those few words, right? So I'm doing that, and that would be my walking. And then at night, so that's the breathing and the walking. And then my last set of breaths at night is purely just, then I do the 4 breaths in, keep it in for 6 seconds, breathe out for 7, and leave it out for 8. So then no breathing for another 8. What that does is it tells your body, okay, it's time to slow down.
Okay.
So the first batch is kind of giving you the energy, kind of keep going. That last, the breathing out and leaving it out for a while tells your body, okay, I now need to slow down. So I do that at night just before I go to bed. Do a bit of shaking loose and getting rid of the day's things, right? I'm feeling it, shake it off.
Shake it a little
And also because I'm a very practical person like that. I almost needed to go, how do I switch off from the day? I need to do something practical, so shake it off. That's how I do.
Okay.
And then that's kind of my day.
And breath work, one of the things you've highlighted here is a very, very, I'm grateful it's now a big movement, because as you correctly said, breath work fits in a very highly specialized category of meditation. But what most people don't realize is how good it is for brain health.
Yeah.
And because we are firing on all cylinders consistently, especially creatives, and in this room, definitely a bunch of creatives. I love that what people often think is another stereotype you're defying here, is that it's expensive to maintain good health. And here you've talked about 2 principles that people like me have advocated for 18 plus years. Walking is free.
Yes.
Not expensive, doable. And conscious breath work, also free, doable. I think the beauty of your practices affirm what we say a lot, to say that the body is intelligent enough to repair itself.
It is.
What it needs is the repeated pattern of the habit.
Yes.
And your consistency is one of the biggest reasons that your body has managed to carry you throughout most challenges in life. I'm curious, have you ever had a health scare?
Not that I know of. Trying to think. No.
That's amazing.
No.
Are you very conscious about what you eat?
Not so much.
Really? That's amazing. So the walking and the breathing and the meditation really works. That's incredible.
I really do try, but also not hard enough. I really, when I say I try like
I love the honesty of
30%.
Yeah.
I do try.
But it works, so you enjoy life.
I really do enjoy life. Like, I'm like, it's there. And when I'm like, oh, there's a chocolate, I must finish it.
I'll just leave it there on its lonesome self.
But exactly. But having said that, I also just tell myself, okay, as long as so what I do, because it's, especially in winter, right? It's harder to get your 5 fruit and veg and all those things in.
Yes.
What do? Pop it in a smoothie. Once a week, make a couple of smoothies.
That's my girl.
Done. It's easy. It's there. It's easy. Suddenly you got a thing like at some point when you feel like snacking. And once I've got that in, I'm like, okay, now I've got my 5 fruits and veg. Okay, it's only 1 smoothie, I know, but every little bit helps.
Yeah.
That's going like, but it's not a whole, that helps. That's how I operate, and that works. And if people go like, but Tracey, but you eat all the other things. I don't eat a pizza every day, right? Okay, I don't eat chocolate every day either. That means when it does come, at any point, I'm going to eat it because I don't have to worry. I didn't eat one yesterday.
But what does a Tracey smoothie then have? If we were to like someone were to get you a smoothie at work, what would rock your socks? What do you like?
I honestly don't have a preference.
Okay.
As long as there's 5 fruits of veg in it, then I'm good.
You
Just
heard-
like as long as that's there,
you heard it
then
here.
I'm good to go. Just don't prefer not anything with onion. I don't know if anyone's ever put an onion in a smoothie, but maybe don't. Just maybe don't do that. Just in case
I don't think so.
people try funny things. So I'm
Very
like, don't
true.
do that.
Very true, Tracey.
But
They're peeling the layers. Speaking of which, I was wondering, do you read?
a lot.
Yeah.
Oh, I read an insane amount.
Let's go. I mean, the top 3
Oh,
favorite books
nice.
for whatever reason.
Nice.
Phew, that's hard to say.
Yeah,
Top
yeah.
3 favorite books. I've got so many.
Okay.
The ones on your mind now.
Can I give you an author that I've read possibly almost all her books?
That's a good start.
And it's fiction. Louise Bagshaw. If you have a moment, just go and check her out. But the reason why I've loved her books
Yes.
Yeah.
is they're all about women who have gone through incredibly rough times, and they come out. And what happens is, despite them coming out of the tough times, they then go through life, and then there's just, while they think life is good, then there's just another blow, and it's another blow. And it's about the resilience of these women every single time.
Yes.
It's about women who, this one girl who had fallen pregnant and was kicked out of her family's home. How did she pick herself up from there? What was the situations? It would be like, it's just incredible. It's absolutely insane, incredibly impoverished. And then how they build these lives through great perseverance and determination. And that's why I like it. Like, I love just how these women, they come out
On the other side.
on the other side.
What's interesting
single
about
time.
that theme is how it follows. Our very first episode for this season was about the power of resilience. It's interesting that a theme that you like in a book is about that very topic.
And all of them. So I love that.
Okay, you love Louise.
So Louise Bagshaw.
There we go, Bagshaw.
She used to write under the name of Louise Mensch at one stage.
Okay.
And then I think she got married, and then it became Bagshaw, yeah. Basically all her books. Then The Power of Positive Thinking
Hey now.
has been a book that has really also changed my life.
Yeah.
Love
And
that.
you'd go like, but Tracey, you are quite positive.
Yes.
There's some things that you don't know because we don't know what we don't know until you read something, right? And then you go, oh, that's interesting. I didn't realize that that's what I was doing. Oh, maybe I should try that. And that could change life there, right? So it's that, and it was an incredibly practical book. So I like the practicality of it.
Right.
Book number 3. Okay, but now I'm taking you back. And it's a childhood book.
Goosebumps.
But
I'm
it's
joking.
as well. Oh my goodness, can we just? Do people still read those books? Are they still around?
I think so.
Oh my gosh, those books were fabulous. Sweet Valley High. You mean, no, I'm joking. Not that. I'm just kidding. All
Well,
of those.
now.
Yo, can you remember?
Tracy.
Jessica and Elizabeth, we remember all of them. No, in this case, it's a book that actually I'd spoken about this morning. And I loved it for the many quotes that it had, but one of my favorite quotes, and I suppose it's why I always push as much as I do, Alice in Wonderland.
Oh, hello.
And there was a quote, there's something that she says, there's this one part in the book, she's running and she's running and she's running and she's staying on the same place. Like she's just standing dead still, like nothing's happening. And when she's exhausted and she says to the queen, why am I not moving? And the queen says to her, it takes all the running you can do to stay in the same place. To get somewhere else, you need to run twice as fast as that. And it's always been something that stuck with me. Like, okay, because you get to a certain place, right? Because you've achieved certain things. And to stay there, you then have to maintain that. That means you're maintaining a certain speed. To get someplace else, you now need to pick it up. You need to kick it up a notch again.
Oh my goodness.
So you always need to pick it up. So I've never, ever forgotten this. It's one of my favorite quotes.
I
That's
have to read
interesting.
that book again.
Right?
Also, why do I confuse Alice in Wonderland with The Wizard of Oz? Those are two different,
Dorothy. Yeah. No, it's easy. It
different
can, but you
stories.
can.
Dorothy and
Yeah.
Off with Her Head is...
Yes.
That's from...
Alice in Wonderland.
That's from
isn't
Alice
it?
in
Yes.
Yes. Off
Yeah.
with their heads!
That would be Alice in Wonderland. And I really hope
Yeah.
no plugger
Yeah,
proves us wrong, because we're
the
feeling
Wizard
very
of Oz
confident.
is...
We are very confident. Yeah, Alice
Very
in Wonderland.
The Wizard
Alice
of
in
Oz is with the lion and the Tin Man
Yes,
and the
that's
scarecrow.
right.
They
Yeah.
need to regain their courage and then...
Right.
Okay, there we go. Got
And
it,
the
got it.
heart.
Right.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
I love that on the subject of reading, it lends itself to this interesting question. As a very busy woman who wears multiple hats, what do you do to relax and unwind?
Read. So one of my favorite things, because it takes me so far out without having to leave home. Right? You get so far. And I often say, like, I traveled way before I actually left the country for the very first time on a plane. I traveled so far in my mind from when I was a kid because of reading.
Yeah.
So I love to read.
Yeah.
And it's also, people don't necessarily believe this, but I love to be alone. I thrive on being alone. I don't survive.
I think a lot of your fans will be very surprised by this, right?
I thrive on it.
Okay.
I thrive.
What is it about being alone that you love so much?
One, it's my way of recharging.
Okay.
And I think it's that people pleasing one that's there. And secondly, this ties into, I think, people pleasing, is that when I'm around people, I want to make sure everyone's okay. So when I'm alone, there's absolutely no one to tend to. So even if you don't need me to tend to you when you're with me, I have a great need to make sure that you are okay.
Oh, wow.
I want to make sure that you are
Amazing,
okay,
right?
and you are welcome in the space, and that at no point do you feel uncomfortable. I never want people to feel uncomfortable. Just not uncomfortable. Anything. You can do whatever. Just don't be uncomfortable. So that's something I work at. So people must feel comfortable. Whereas when I'm alone, there's nothing else.
It's just you.
But I think
just me.
as you said that, and I love that, and I'm reminded of what you said earlier on, right? It's about the people you choose to allow those good-natured characteristics to be gifted to, if I could call it that. So it's not that you are a people pleaser. It's who are you deciding to please?
Yeah. Yes.
That's so important to keep.
Fantastic.
We will
right?
appreciate it. Yeah.
It's
So I
fantastic.
do, being alone, chilling at home, going absolutely nowhere is a treat.
You have so many things in your basket. Let me put it that way. That inspire you, nourish you, energize you. 2024, we're halfway. Is there anything currently on your bucket list you still want to tick off this year?
Oh my goodness, there's a lot. Oh my gosh.
I kind of expected that.
Like, I feel like it never stops. Like, you just go like, oh, okay, like, let me just try that also.
Have you seen that diary?
Listen, there's notes galore.
I just had to go there. Too tempting not to go there.
There's a lot. But in typical Tracey fashion, I'm also one of those people that don't share until it's happening.
Like this.
I've always operated from a place. And it's never been a conscious thing. It's always just been like I'll wait until it's a sure thing until I tell people, right? It's not even like I fear anything. It's just like, and then later on, as I've grown older, I've realized the wisdom in that and how actually that's perfect. It's better that way. Purely just because whether you want to hear it or not, some people just don't wish the best for you, and people just don't.
It's life.
The energies, it's also just life, right? It's also just life. And I've been okay not always sharing things until the moment that it absolutely happens.
So we will know while we watch her page what was on her bucket list later on.
Yes. Oh, you will know immediately. You will know things are happening, and there we go, that's what's happening. But it's so funny. Like, for a long time, I always believed that at 30, I might die. So that's why I did everything and gave it my all for no reason. And nothing happened. Nothing. There's no house. No one had said you might die. Nothing had happened. I was just like, ooh, I think, what if it ends and then I haven't done everything? So then you put everything into it. And then 40 started approaching, and I was like, cool, but now what? So then what do you do? If I'm going to be running out of time, hey, let me go do everything.
Yeah, give it everything now.
And then just try it all. Okay, cool. So then what else is there that's new that you need to try and give a shot? And that's what you do. And then you just give it your all, and then we'll see what happens.
Wow.
I don't have to fear it. I always just go like, so at any point, these are great. When people say we must have an attitude of gratitude, right?
There we go.
It's not something, so people say it. I actively practice it. So at any point when there's a fear of something happening, and I can share very personally now, and I'm sure you won't mind if I do.
Please.
No, absolutely
About
not.
2 years ago, I'd found a lump, and I was, okay, cool, we need to go and do whatever it is that we need to do. So I'm now not going to be that person that's like, oh, I'm a little bit scared. Okay. No. We need to find out. So now people would be like, a couple of friends was like, listen, but Tracey, now if you find out, then your life changes. And I was like, but up until now, I've absolutely appreciated my health. So if that, whatever it is that I need to go and do, I need to go and get my breast checked and all of that, if I get there and they say to me whatever it is, and that this is now something that is serious. Up until then, I've actually had a pretty good time with my health. I've actually appreciated it every day. That is why I walk, because I can. I get to walk. I don't have to. I get to walk. I get to work. I get to wake up every day and go to work. I get to be able to laugh. I get to do everything that I do. I get to take advantage of every second. And fortunately, everything was fine, right? I'd gone, done everything that I needed to do, and all was fine. And then that just made me appreciate it even more after that.
Yeah.
But at no point did I go, I've always just appreciated it. I absolutely have. And I think that's why it's so easy for me to laugh and smile and keep going in the midst of everything, even when I'm very tired, is that I know I just get to, and I'm so incredibly grateful for it. And I know how many people don't get to do so many of the things that I do, and you're dying to do what I do, and it's just not going to come their way for whatever reason that might be, right? Because it's not their journey, because they don't have the opportunities. And just being so grateful for that allows me to just be and put so much into every single day, so that I know I've lived it fully.
Wow.
I feel like we've barely consumed Tracey part 1. So I know for a fact part 2, pluggers, hear this from us right now.
I agree.
She'll be back. She has to come. You have to come back. It's just, I mean, we've literally just opened our house for lack of a better word.
Guys, if this is what
this is how we're starting.
if this is what the government of national unity is delivering, I am here for it. I am here for it, because more of this, please. Please.
And you know, on the things we are talking about, Tracey, I mean, firstly, we're going to invite you to play a very special game of ours as a guest. And we are, you know, as part of a housewarming gift.
Yeah.
You know, what's interesting is usually when you come to someone's house, most people, the tradition is the guests give the host. We're doing it differently at the Wellness Plug. As hosts, we're giving our guests some gifts. But before we get to that, I am curious, because you, Kat, and I had this offline chat. We're going to bring it online for the pluggers. What are your thoughts as someone who's obviously in the industry reporting to a degree the news, as much as your show, Mid Mornings with Tracey, is obviously a lot of other things? Obviously, something interesting happened in South Africa recently. And the Wellness Plug is very curious to hear what Oracle Tracey thinks about the government of national unity.
Can I first just say, I've thought about this quickly.
As a caveat.
When I worked at Good Hope FM, my colleagues used to call me the Oracle. It was so funny.
It
was so funny. They said I used to know things that before everyone else. Was so funny.
Wow.
So that's why it was so funny when you said it earlier. I was like, I was going to tell you that later, but then you happened to bring it up now. Listen, for me, with regards to politics, I think we all have a very clear idea of what is right and what is wrong. And we've all been hoping that and wishing, and we all dream of just the right people being in power in terms of our leadership, right? The reason why I myself tend to not get into anything about politics, I don't post about it, I don't comment on it, I don't do any of that kind of thing, because there's enough other people doing it.
I got you.
So I step away purely, like if we have a very simple conversation and completely like offline, like you said, I'll be very, very clear and I could be very vocal about it.
Yeah.
My feel is just, I don't want to add to the negativity that's already out there. You can find that absolutely everywhere.
Yeah.
I don't want you to find it with me. I would like to be the person that actually makes you go, there's many other things to focus on that makes me happy.
Right.
And I'd like to do that. Yeah. I'd like to allow that happiness in every people's space, in everyone's space. What I can say on politics that does make me happy is that we launched the TLC party, which is really, really funny.
And like I know what it is, but it's fine. Please tell them.
I know, because it was so funny, because a lot of people did think it was a real campaign that we launched at KFM. And this is the biggest thing, right? We are done. In 2020, I started something called Genit Dit met Tracey Lange. So it was the thing where I encourage people to knit one item for someone in need. Why? Again, this is also the furthest I will get with regards to government and commenting on it. We had known we'd gone into lockdown. We knew what would happen. We suspected what might happen, right? And my thing was, everyone was going, government must take care of things. And I went, I get that, but can we all take responsibility of one person? And then what I encouraged people to do was to knit one item for someone in need during lockdown that you could gift someone. It's been years later, I still can only knit a scarf. I'm never going to learn to knit socks. I'm never going to learn to knit a beanie. I'm good with a scarf, one item, right? And it was also knitting has been proven scientifically to calm your heart rates, bring your blood pressure down. And I was also going, if I'm knitting, my hands are busy, I don't constantly go to the fridge and eat, right? So I was like, I'll keep knitting. That was my vibe. And in our first year, we collected over 1,000 items. People started dropping it off at KFM, going like, this is what we've got. Please, can you hand it out? Right. And we did. We found different homes that we could hand these items to. And I said, even if you just keep that item in your car and you drive past someone homeless, hand them the scarf, hand them the beanies. That's what I'm asking. I'm asking you to take responsibility. It has grown over the years. It's gotten even bigger. Consistently, we have tended to more people. But what we've noticed from last year is that people don't have the time to knit anymore because we're not in lockdown, right? We've kind of moved away from things. Right. And then we changed it. Geknitted met Tracey Lange. This year became the Tracey Lange Cares Party.
Oh, yes. Okay.
And it tied into the election. So then we launched this massive Tracey Lange Cares Party at KFM 94.5. And I invited people to sign up and become members of the Tracey Lange Cares Party. And then they needed to select a charity, an NPO and an NGO to tend to children in the Western Cape that they would collect the warm items for. We had 15 members sign up. We are looking at, and I need to count because it might be different, the one company, but they've got so many different branches and schools have signed up and selected places that they are collecting for. And we've got these amazing members who are now part of this. And all we are encouraging people is to now donate their items at all these different organizations and places because they will then donate it to their charity on Mandela Day. So we ran this all the way up until the 15th of July. Please help. And that is what we're doing. We are going, listen here, there's this party. We've now created the Tracey Lange Cares Party. Yes, it's there. And I do this. Like on one of my videos, I do this.
You really need to get in it, Kat.
Because I was going to say, if I saw your face on the ballot, I might have just...
But people did think, so we had to make a very big thing around listen here.
TLC.
We had to say, the party isn't real, but the cause is. Just so people could understand, because we really did go all out with this. Because we want people to take charge of this themselves. We all want to help. We all go, what can I do? Where can I do it? How can I go? You do it. And what we're saying is Tracey Lange Cares, and so do you. So just with one item, let's help and keep the kids of Cape Town warm again. That's what we're looking for. So that's what we've created. And now the TLC party, the Tracey Lange Cares initiative, will keep going throughout the year. Right. After this, we've got further plans with that. And just making sure that people show how much they care. Like, we're not waiting on anyone else. We're not waiting on government. We are doing this. We are going, we are taking care. That's what we want.
I feel like at least 5 seats would be great. 5 seats, guys. Just 5.
Active citizenship.
I love that.
Yes.
And the beauty now of the fact that you're such an active citizen is it's also really important that sometimes the joy is extended to the people around you, which you do very effortlessly. So we are fellow tribe mates in terms of spreading joy at TWP. And so we've got something interesting to thank you for being part of part 1. I keep looking at you directly so you know.
It's like you actually
when that email comes, girl, and I'm like, part 2, you're like...
That's all it is.
You are like, what time? The
subject is part 2.
You have to send like a physical letter. It's going to be stuck into the diary.
Yeah, sorry, into the diary. I will deliver a 2025 diary. You watch me.
Thank you.
Watch me.
Got you.
That's how
I love it. Check it out.
We are Team TLC proud members.
Love it.
And in the spirit of bringing you into our family at the Wellness Plug, we're going to play something very, very spicy for you. We think not only will you love it, Avo will like it, your friends will like it. Just be careful. You may lose this initial card collection.
Okay.
So just keep it like...
Got you. Noted.
It got Kat hooked. It got me hooked. Our friends are hooked.
On that initial dinner party that you were invited to, this would have been great.
Right.
Okay, fair.
Right.
You know.
Let's give her a taste. So Kat is going to be the conductor. I'll narrate. Right. So the cards are called Within.
Yeah.
Very fun cards. Whether it's with friends, whether it's with your loved one, whether it's even with family members. I don't know about colleagues. We must talk about that one.
It depends. Yeah, it depends.
Yeah, maybe on a night out.
Yes.
Okay.
I want to get to know
Drinking
them.
games allowed, but please, we don't encourage.
Eyes.
I like it, but
Start conversation.
But let's see how you and Kat have this broadcasting powerhouse situation.
Okay.
There are 3 decks. Okay. You can either play the game with all the cards.
Yeah.
Right? And just kind of mash them and just whoever picks the card. The game works like this. Whichever deck you choose, He can shuffle for you. You pick a card. He will read out what is on the card. Like I said, 3 decks. One is called general questions. You can ask the question, right? And you answer. If you decide to not answer, there is a penalty. 10 seconds of the plank. You know the plank, Tracey? You know the favorite exercise? Yes. The best workout on planet Earth.
Okay.
What's that? Wait. I saw the other day they say, like, share your lunch or sing in Chinese.
Right.
And the guy goes, what's it? Sang So either answer the question or 10 seconds of the plank.
Oh my God.
Fortunately, not a single human has had to do the plank. I think people are eager to give us some answers. It's fun, Tracey.
Let's go. Okay.
The second deck is called Yes, No, Maybe.
Yeah.
Cat's all-time favorite deck. This one gives you 7 scenarios with a question. And for all those 7, you simply answer yes, no, or maybe.
Okay.
Those are the 2 decks I'm going to offer for your housewarming.
Can I give a reason for yes, no, or maybe?
It's inevitable would be
Okay.
Cat's answer.
I'm just asking, okay?
As a veteran of this
Okay,
game.
listen. Okay, as long as I know what can be done.
You can.
Will it be hyphenated answers that I can do that? Yes, hyphen I, hyphen did, hyphen this, hyphen because, hyphen.
I think Kat, she's already chosen the deck. I think she's
No.
I think you've
Yes,
got
no,
this,
maybe.
ne? So that middle deck, I'm going to give to my wonderful, very, very experienced player over here, Kat. He's going to shuffle the cards so that you know.
Chova the cards. This is called Kuchova.
Okay, got you.
To shuffle. Kuchova.
Kochova. Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
You will
just to make
simply
sure.
Let's do the.
Casino Royale.
Let's see. Check you out.
That with a few shots of whatever. I'm not sure will go so well. Right.
Choose from wherever.
Oracle.
From the top, from the middle, wherever you'd like.
You
can
simply
cut the
choose a
deck
card,
and
you-
go.
And then I hand it
So
to
this
him.
is yes, no.
This is
no.
yes, no, and maybe.
Must I answer every scenario, everything?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh.
The card must be
Not as a whole.
The card must be completed.
Oh, wow.
Uh-oh.
Oh no.
Oh, I'm scared. Whenever he does that, by
I
the
know.
way,
That's just like, oh
must I cry?
This is amazing. I
Okay.
love this.
no. Oh gosh, what is the time? I think I must leave.
Hey, it's just night time.
Right, Tracey.
So the card reads as follows. And the beautiful thing about this and why I love these particular cards is that in any given situation, right, the awkwardness is kind of, it dissipates because I'm not the one asking the question, it's the card.
Oh wow. Okay. Yo, look at that.
You say that to all your
Yes,
friends.
no, maybe, right? Which of these phrases best describe your thoughts about your ex? 1. I was delulu.
Okay.
Yes, no, maybe.
Oh, must I for it? Oh.
Yeah. I was delulu.
Maybe.
2. They're awesome, just not my person.
Let's go with yes.
The
And
best
this
lesson
one.
of my life.
Oh yes. But these are different exes. You didn't tell me particular ex.
Well, this, you see what I mean? You see what I mean? I was like, oh, now that we're here, drink closer. Which one are you talking about?
Because the one was different to the other one to the other one. I decided as you were asking him.
I hear all your girlfriends silently going, we know that one was going
You know. You know that one where they go, I know.
Keep going, Kat.
That's why.
We did say it's the
Number
best
4
game.
goes, who? Spicy.
No, seriously, number 4 just says
Is
who?
who?
Okay. Is it? Sorry, he's on.
Like
Okay.
for real.
Yes. I'm assuming that is there an ex that you feel that way about?
No, but there's different ones. Yeah.
So yes, okay.
All of them. Was not exactly what I said.
Number 5, it was worth the ride.
Yes.
Mm.
Okay.
6, we're better off as friends.
I like this.
Now you see now that's where we get into like, oh, so then what do you feel about being friends with exes? Is that like a thing for you?
Loved what
So
you
on a
said.
first date, now we're already getting into these
Yeah.
kinds of, oh, now that you mention it.
No, I'm all for being single. Absolutely.
Yes.
We can all
Okay.
be decent, but we don't necessarily hang out and talk to each other all the time.
Yeah.
So there's not a single ex where you're there with them from your friends. You'd say you're still friends.
I don't know if I would even say. I honestly can't say that it's a friends thing.
I like that.
So when you click
No, I
on
honestly
this,
can't
No.
say like,
when you
yeah.
click on their stories on Instagram, there's no green little thing with a star on it.
Close
Hashtag
friends.
Close friends.
I can never keep up.
No.
I can't.
I don't know if I follow them on Instagram.
That's brilliant.
Jeez, your answer's a nice clear no. Isn't
know what I
that
mean?
isn't that refreshing?
I don't.
And then
Don't
7 would be
time.
Okay, number 7.
Number 7 would be I'm still healing and dealing.
No.
Okay.
Love that.
No.
Love that.
Here's
And
the
that's how you
beauty.
get to know someone like that.
Here's the
right?
beauty of this. You now get to get him a card.
Stop it.
Oh,
You get to now.
Wait, which is this one again? This
That's
is
general questions.
general
That's
questions.
one question that you pick a card. Remember now, Kat, there's a penalty. Remember what happened to me?
Oh, yeah.
And we didn't action my penalty.
I feel risky.
Oh,
I
you
feel
want to?
risky.
Okay.
You know?
Okay.
I feel like Chova here.
Good.
Okay. I
General question. Put me to the sod. If I die, I die. Once.
Yeah, we don't use fighting then. We do
Okay.
normal
How do you do
game
this? How did you do it?
time. Just shut.
There. Don't act like you don't
Oh, there we go.
There we
Represent
go.
Avu well now.
Yeah, okay, let's do it. Okay.
Wow. Okay.
Okay, there we go.
I'm gonna cut 3
Okay.
quarters in
Sure.
and
Okay.
take this one.
You're gonna
I don't know why. You know what?
And then I read it and
You
then
read
I.
it, he's got odds.
It's only because Tracy's here and she said when you do something, give it
All in.
everything. So I'm going all in. And hi.
This is a nice one.
Oh,
I want you to pick a game.
I didn't consider that as part of the game.
Don't you mean that an option?
I agree, Taylor, when I said, yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
what-
Me and you are going to tag team on this. I agree. I think.
okay, let's go. Let's go with this one.
Let's get
I don't know.
getting on a proper card.
Aye.
Ooh, what do you think? What do you think?
You're gonna choose
You're
one
the
of those.
guest. You can decide.
Sure.
We can do 5 cards if you want.
Okay, I want another one.
Hey, I chose this one for the results.
Did I just change on you? I'm like, there's a guest. I can skip the
Yeah,
rule.
exactly. There we go. I'll take it again.
Okay,
you need what's going on?
Be nice, be nice.
I'll take the top one right
Okay.
there. Is that to your
Best of
pleasing?
3.
No, man, best of 5. Go try another one. Let's see if there's another one.
Are these two lightweight for you guys?
Yeah.
I think she
I feel like
What
you
are you
tried
trying
just
to
wants
catch
you
me
to
on
go to
here?
a specific
Ooh.
Wow. Wow.
Maybe this is how it really should be played.
This is actually, I feel like it's so much better. I feel like these are.
We just amended rule book 12 section 1B.
What is that meme that did the rounds about Uno where Uno shared the real rules and they were like, that's not how it works? Someone said, Uno, you gave us the game. Now leave. I got nothing to do with make our own rules.
We've never played it that way.
Agreed. If there are players who feel exactly the same, you
Do you know exactly?
Do you? Right. I like this one. Let's go.
Oh, I like this.
Let's go, Tracy.
The anticipation is killing.
It's actually not so bad.
Okay.
Kat, is there any bad habit you'd like to change right now?
Oh! Right now, any bad habit that I'd like to change right now? Oh, I am terrible with dishes, guys. I am so... oh, man. Yo, I feel like I've got like past trauma. Like,
Oh my God.
yo, guys, I'm working at it, but they get done. Look, they get done.
Okay.
They get done.
But when? I need to know when. Like on the same day, days later, weeks later. Okay, that's part 2 of the question.
Tracy has breathed new life into it.
Let's just say it's long enough to annoy me.
Okay.
And I take this off like my grandma was the kind of woman who once you ate, right, and you had finished eating, that plate should not touch the table in front of you.
Should be gone.
It should
Yeah,
already
yeah.
be in a sink. It should already be washed,
yeah.
be dried, and be placed back. It's like you took it out of the cupboard, you dished, ate,
it belongs
and then magically.
Yeah.
So somewhere I'm trying to live somewhere in between there, where sometimes I'm just like, oh, that meal was so good. Put the dish there in the sink, and then just like, oh. And then I wake up the next day and the dish is still like,
Yeah, no one came. Rumpelstiltskin didn't come overnight to come and clean it for you. Shame. I feel for you. Oh, shame.
Okay. I'm
I
comfortable
feel like
enough
we
to share.
started something, but
I think this works.
but that's within, and of course, for being our.
But what about
first
you?
house guest? Tracy, you're not supposed to realize that.
No, but what about you? I feel like we should. Someone you pick a
Tracy, Tracy, behave.
Come on, you bigger dick.
Lalela, you are getting a box. Behave.
But okay, come on, just try. Come on, just try.
Yes.
What did I say? I like everyone to feel welcome and comfortable, and everyone must be equal. Is that the one?
Chova.
Right.
Must be both awesome.
I think we're gonna get on the first one.
Oh my gosh, this is not gonna end well.
Okay, what's I cut?
Yes, cut.
Rato, come
Yeah.
say.
Take that one. That
Can I
one.
do this one?
That one. That one there. What? That one.
Guys, you're giving me those evil eyes.
Ooh. Okay.
Are we agreeing or are we not? Because it took a few rounds. I'm so worried about
It's spicy enough.
It is spicy.
Ooh,
Okay.
Okay. Go.
Go for it.
Okay.
Guys, now I realize what you experienced.
It feels scary. Just a little. Which lyrics best describe how you feel about your previous relationship?
Wait, like the one that happened before? Oh, I'm just...
Not the previous one, yeah. The one before the ring.
Answer my question.
I want to do the plank. Okay, go.
He wasn't man enough for me.
Oh my God, this is spicy.
That's just my best part of it all. I feel like Kat knows something because he's not even saying
Yes,
anything.
no, or maybe. Answer my question.
Oh, sorry, I'm having trauma.
You?
Maybe.
Wow.
Sentimental?
Yes.
Oh. Why are you starting? Why are your eyes tearing? Oh my gosh, is she feeling some kind of way? Oh. I will always love you.
Survive this card.
I will always love you.
Whitney version, Dolly Parton.
Regardless. The words are the same.
No. I'll be honest enough to say no.
Okay.
Yo, I hope they are not offended. Way. Well,
What doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
Yo. Yes.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Growth.
It's all coming back to me now.
In this moment.
Yeah, no, I get it.
Wow.
Can we talk for a minute?
No.
Okay.
No, we did a lot of talking.
Okay. Really?
No from Sidi Kule.
I feel like
Yo,
another
my full
answer to the
name
next
is
one.
Sunny.
I feel like the last one is a very clear. Bye.
In the instinct, please.
Bye. So what do you feel? Is it like a...
No, it was a proper goodbye. Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh my God, these cards.
That like pulls you through the ringer. Just song lyrics, eh?
I may never play them so very much.
You see? It's nice when everyone gets a turn.
What can we
nicer.
talk for a minute?
And I went, no.
I ain't got no time for that. Anybody got time for that?
No questions will be allowed on my page about that.
Ooh, I'm so keen.
I know. We've survived it.
I was just hearing the friends on the other thing going, I remember I was there.
I know exactly.
Every
what
night.
she
I
talking
remember
about.
that moment when she pitched up and said, please bring anything. Just come. Bring a pack of chips. Bring whatever I need to eat. I know it.
Wow.
There's that friend.
We would love to present you with Tracy's own.
Yay! Thank you very much.
Enjoy it.
Please enjoy it. I cannot wait. We look forward to hearing
I'm excited.
what
Thank you.
what beautiful
Thank
moments
you.
come out with you and your loved ones. You've got a taste of it now. So
Yes.
if there's one person I know who's going to be like, right, I'm just going to pretend it's a normal night.
And then bam!
And then bam! Ooh, yes.
Who would
I'm
like
like-
to go within?
Yeah. And you're not very
What
gently. Yeah.
What do you mean?
I would like to go within. Like, oh, it's nice, calm. Oh.
It's been the most
There are no
insightful
words.
chat with you. eh? Wow. Wow. I've
no
enjoyed
words.
this very, very much.
Thank you. I've enjoyed it.
After us kind of like passing by each other in the industry and what we've done over the years to get to know this depth in you.
Absolutely.
I think about, that the sense of peace that you found to be so important, the going all in on everything that you can go into. And there's so many lessons
Thank you.
that you've plugged us into, and I'm really appreciative of that.
No, thank you. And thank you for creating the space and for having me. It was really,
Oh.
really great. I mean, I can say, like, from the moment I saw that the podcast started, I was very keen. I was like, no one's asking me to come, but okay, maybe it'll happen one day.
We got you.
To the best
got you.
one. one thing I will always give this particular podcast credit for is it really, really has a beautiful way to disarm and unveil people in the most joyous way. So thank you for bringing the joy that we are so synonymous for at this point. I mean, you've elevated it. Like I was saying to Kat, I'm like, every guest from this moment on, this is the energy. But we do have a challenge that we've given Tracey. I haven't forgotten. So you're going to see some interesting things here because she is going to show us proof of wellness.
I don't know.
And trust me, Tracey, you will surprise yourself, girl. You have the rhythm and the vibe to carry all of us into the next 30 years of wellness.
Just not. Myself or you guys. There's also a great possibility. That no one might be surprised. No one be like, oh, no. There's no.
You know, you don't marry a Xhosa man without having rhythm. That's what these streets are telling me.
Sure.
It shall be proven.
I'm all about rapping.
Mark my words, it shall be proven and you shall be amazed and mesmerized. On that note, if you have been following us this entire episode, please don't forget to like and subscribe to the Wellness Plug on all our platforms. You have got to follow Tracey Lange. She is on all platforms, including KFM. But I mean, I know that what are the big pages that you outside of this beautiful, beautiful culture you've created of Flou Joke Friday, where can people find you?
Well, all the different social media platforms. You can find me there. That's the easiest. That's also the best place to kind of engage with people. It really is a lot of fun. And like you said, the flow jokes are such a thing. And people go, where do you get the jokes? It's people who send it to me. It's the incredible people who send it, go like, here's a joke for you. You need to tell this now. And it's funny when you have people that are so incredibly serious.
Right.
Who works with me. Like someone who's like in accounts and they come to you and they're very serious and they're like, listen, family member said I must tell you this joke. I don't like your jokes, but let me just tell you the joke just so you know it. And they are so annoyed. They're like, no one ever tells jokes, but like now I must tell you this joke. And like it's so funny how people just get in on it. And I think the purpose of a flow joke is really just for the fact that it's non-offensive to anybody. The most that it might offend anyone is that it's wasting your time by listening to it. Like that's it. That is it.
What's the best one you've heard, by the way? If you can. I know there've been so many.
Oh.
Is there one that kind of stands
really
out
just,
to you?
There's a lot. There's a couple that I can never tell
okay.
aloud to anybody.
Okay.
That in itself is iconic.
But, no, exactly. But the one I shared last week is why do people have different blood types?
Why?
You not know?
No.
So mosquitoes can have different flavors.
No, but can it top this?
Okay.
My man comes off the Sunday, but before Tuesday. What's his name?
Monday? Why?
Because I can waste your time.
Why did you just do that? I was so invested.
I was also like, I feel like I now know how people feel when I tell my jokes.
Yeah, no.
I now know. I absolutely know.
I'm done.
I'm sorry,
how
I
that
ate
feels.
Wow.
Wow. Why did the chicken cross the road?
No.
This is not gonna end well.
Why did the chicken cross the road? Why?
Why?
Because!
Bye, all. We love you.
I can't. I really can't. Wow.
Until next episode, stay well. We love you guys.
Yeah.
This was Behind the Mic with Tracey Lange, the legend.
Wow.
Perfect ending. No, perfect ending. Well done. That was amazing.
Yeah.